Lazarus raised from the dead.
Yes, and the last, well, let me tell you where we are. In the Gospel of John, chapter 11, and verse 38, and
30.
things are already happening from the last one.
Right. So Lazarus died, sadly, but it
Yes,
was all part of the plan.
yes,
So, in 38. Then Jesus, again groaning in himself, there he is again.
yes, and his sisters Mary and Martha, Mary and Martha, sisters of Lazarus, are here with him, and all the other Jewish people that were there to mourn with Mary, right? And
Right.
Martha.
There was a lot of support.
Yes.
Came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay against it. Jesus said, take away the stone. Martha, the sister of him who was dead, said to him, Lord, by this time there is a stench, for he has been dead 4 days. Jesus said to her, That's not what I asked you.
He
Did
didn't
I
say
not
that, but that's what Johnny is interpreting.
did I not say to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God? Right?
Yeah,
Have a little faith.
I know. See, sometimes we jump ahead and we look at the physical, right?
Right.
And we don't
You made it
miss
this
out
far
on the
mentally.
spiritual. In a way, she was trying to protect him from the smell.
Right. She probably didn't want to smell it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so she was in the material part instead of thinking, oh, this is Jesus. Let's see what he can do.
Right. Why is
And
he telling
maybe,
her to move the stone in the first place?
yeah, and maybe we need to look at that.
Mm,
Oh, today is a new day. Jesus, what are you going to do?
right. And they took away the stone from the place where the dead man was lying. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. And I know that you always hear me. But because of the people who are standing by, I said this, that they may believe that you sent me. Now, when he had said these things, he cried out with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth.
Yes.
And he who had died came out, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was wrapped with a cloth. And Jesus said to them, Loose him and let him go.
Wow.
And every single Pharisee probably got a notification on their phone,
That's what would happen today, right?
right? If this happened,
Yes, it would be a viral news, right? Viral video.
right? The next part, this is what it's titled, The Plot to Kill Jesus,
Wow. So that is a pretty cool story, isn't it?
right?
And
That's
um
a so there's a plot to Jesus, right? And then I made the reference last time, right? That they could be alluding the same thing with Lazarus and Jesus. Because later in 12, it says the plot to kill Lazarus.
oh,
So
I
it
got
could be an illusion, or it could just be the fact that, like he healed the blind guy, right? And then they were harassing the blind guy.
right.
So it
Because
could just,
they want to disprove any miracle that happened, right?
right. They're trying to get rid of the trails.
Yeah. And so verse 41 and 42 is pretty cool because you see that Jesus like prays to his father out loud, right? He's talking to God out loud so that not for him, but so that we or the people there would believe and us that we would believe too.
Right.
Because could have said it all in his head and then we would never know he said it.
Right. He could have just said, Lazarus, come out.
He could have said that.
Come out.
And many times he probably said to people, fate is meant, but we don't know the interaction between him and God. And this is kind of a nice insight, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, it is. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mr. John. Yes.
Then many of the Jews who had come to Mary and had seen the things Jesus did believed in him.
Mhm.
You think it was maybe some of the people that had rejected him previously?
It's possible. It
Could
is
be.
possible.
Maybe.
Definitely probably had doubts, right?
Well, why are they coming to Mary? and not Jesus himself.
who had come. I think they had come to Mary's house to support her when Lazarus died, maybe. Maybe
Oh,
that's what they
oh, this
meant,
is a different Mary. Never mind. Sorry.
right? I think, like
Yeah,
Mary
no.
and Martha.
Yes,
Yeah.
different Mary, right? This is not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused
I
with
I mean, I think it's
ordering.
a continuation, like many of the Jews who had come to Mary, like they'd come to Mary's house to see Lazarus.
Right.
I mean, to support, and had seen the things Jesus did, like
Well,
raised
right.
Lazarus.
Lazarus is alive and walking around. That's
Right.
a pretty good thing.
That's a pretty good thing. That's what I think they're saying. I
Okay.
don't think they're coming to tell Mary, but they were there because of Mary to
Okay.
support her. I think that's what they're saying. I think
But some of them went away to the Pharisees and told them the things Jesus did.
that's where they get the alert on the phone nowadays, but
They're
they
paid.
had to go with their feet there and tell them they had to walk. So the
Right.
news was not quite as quick, but
I'm sure
still,
it came pretty fast.
yeah, it was still happening. People gossiping. I mean, we're supposed to gossip about Jesus in the sense that tell people the good news, right? But
Right.
we're not supposed to be gossiping about causing trouble, not telling people to get them in trouble or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah, true. No gossiping.
Yeah.
Then the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered a council and said, what shall we do?
Mm,
For this man works many signs. We can't do none of this stuff that he's doing.
right. And he's gaining followers, right? Is probably
Right.
their main thing. And he's working signs and people are following him and believing him.
Right.
I mean, if no one believed him, they wouldn't care, right? But
That's true.
it's,
If we let him alone like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and nation. Oh, that's the selfish intentions behind what they're doing, Mother.
mm,
At verse in 48. But if they're God's people, Mother, why would they be worried about them losing?
yeah, they're right. Well, they're
So
worried.
maybe they did forget that God had their back.
I know they forgot about Exodus and they forgot about all the
They
times that God
forgot
has.
again. The 40 years in the desert wasn't enough, you know? The 40 years in the desert was not enough for these fellows to remember at all. And it doesn't make any sense. So in 49, and one of them, Caiaphas, being head high priest that year, said to them, you know nothing at all, nor do you consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and not that the whole nation should perish. Now this he did not say of his own authority, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the nation. He made him a martyr so he could
Well, did he
trip
make him
him
a
up
martyr or
later. He
did
painted
he,
the picture, dude,
he
before.
painted? Yes, but did he do it of his? Did God give him, like, was it? He didn't know really what he was saying. God was like prophesizing through him.
Oh, maybe, right? Part of the plan.
I think maybe.
Okay. And not for that nation only, but also that he would gather together in one of the children of God who were scattered about abroad, together in one. So he'd gather all the children of God together
Mm,
and then take over Jerusalem. That's what they were thinking.
yeah, I know, right?
But they had no intention of that. Then from that day on, they plotted to put him to death. They said, forego all that.
I know. Yeah,
Therefore, Jesus no longer walked openly among the Jews, but went from there into the country near the wilderness to a city called Ephraim, and there remained with his disciples. And the Passover of the Jews was near, and many went from the country up to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. Then they sought Jesus and spoke among themselves as they stood in the temple. What do you think? that he will not come to the feast. Think he's gonna be a little scaredy cat? No, he's gonna be there. Um,
What that's, yeah, they're talking among themselves, right?
of course he's gonna be there. And I even
Yeah,
think I had maybe said that in like Luke, but no, he shows
yeah,
up. That if anyone knew where he was, he should report it, that they might see. Oh, sorry. So now both the chief priests and the Pharisees had given a command that if anyone knew where he was, he should report it, and that they might seize him. This man had a bounty.
yes. That was
The wanted man,
2,000-year-old bounty. Look, that's
right?
what it looked like.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Imagine. Sure, he had a
Wow.
wanted poster and everything.
I know.
And I'm sure
Wow.
he kept one.
And we want Jesus, but in a good way. So we
Right.
can make sure we're following him and seeking him, right? Right,
Yeah.
Dora? Mm,
Just know. God
just
got your
no.
back though. You don't have to
Yeah,
worry.
he got our back. Yes.
So, what's next? The anointing of Bethany? That's a thing. Is the
Okay.
Passover is coming? Isn't Passover coming? And I mean, we're not gonna see it now, but Passover is coming when we're recording this
The Passover is coming when we're recording it. Exactly. That's
in
it.
like a
That
week
is
or two.
true. Yay.
Um, get ready.
Get ready. And then it'll be coming again next year before you know it.
Right. It'll almost be time for Passover again.
Yeah. 1 year. So be ready. Time goes quick.
Time goes quick. Have some peace, mother.
Yes.